Attack on Titan recently revealed the biggest plot twist of the series, the fact that Attack Titan can transcend time. The single concept is so perfectly hidden that by the time you really realize what it means, there's so many details that completely went over our heads that you have to now go back and look into. Little moments that you didn't think mattered or that you thought were strange but weren't sure why they were important now make sense to you knowing what we know now. That Eren had the ability to alter the past the entire time. Luckily for you, I went back to look through Eren's dreams and memories, actions, and moments to see when Eren had altered the past, why it was important, and what moments correlate with each other throughout the seasons, revealing Eren's plans to start the rumbling and destroy the world long ago, all in the name of freedom. Before we begin, as always, make sure you grab your cup because it's time to spill the Attack on tea, the anime tea, you know what time it is. So this video is going to be broken down into a timeline of episodes and moments, but it's not your normal timeline. We're going to be hopping back and forth between episodes that correlate with each other from this season of Attack on Titan to the first season and everything in between. And of course, we cannot start off this timeline without talking about episode 59, which has become the single most important episode of the entire series, now that we know what we know. The moment when Eren touches Historia's hand, we learn that he was able to see everything that he was going to do in the future, as well as his own ability to travel and transcend time. Eren says specifically that he was able to see the moment when Grisha confronted the Rice family and the moment when he talked to Frida and asked her to help the people behind the walls from getting attacked by all these Titans who were coming in and destroying the walls, and Frida decided to do nothing because of the vow-renouncing war. He also saw himself convince his father to kill the Rice family when Grisha decided not to kill them. Essentially, in this moment, Eren sees what he is capable of doing. And throughout this whole time, he didn't know what he was able to do. He didn't know the Attack Titan's real abilities until he saw it for himself through the memories that appeared once he touched Historia's hand. And you can tell that this huge transition has taken place because right after this moment, Eren's eyes and his entire demeanor changes for the rest of that episode. Because it is at this moment that he understands and sees everything that he is going to do. That he has to destroy the world with the rumbling in order to reach his goal of freedom. Now that we know that, we can skip back to episode 1. In this episode, the most memorable part of it, besides everyone getting eaten by Titans, of course, is Eren's vivid dream that he has in the first couple minutes of the show. It was speculated all the way back then that some of the images in the dreams were actually visions of the future because there is a one-for-one scene of Eren's mother getting eaten by a Titan, and it also shows the smiling Titan, Dynafruit. But the strange thing about that, though, is that Eren saw visions of the future, but he didn't do anything about it because at the time, he thought it was just a dream. We're going to go more into that in a little bit, but let's skip all the way ahead to episode 80, one of the more recent episodes that just premiered for Attack on Titan, where we learn so much about the history of Titans, where they came from, Ymir, Eren, the Attack Titan, and all of that. When Eren reaches Ymir in the world of the coordinate, and as he's talking to her, he tells her, "You're the one who sent me down this path to come and get you. You're the one who wanted me to free you." And it's at this moment that it's confirmed that the first episode and this episode are tied together because this episode is titled From You, 2,000 Years Ago, and then the first one is titled To You, 2,000 Years in the Future, insinuating that Ymir sent visions of what was to come to Eren as a child. In episode 80, Eren also sees Ymir's past and her entire history. He sees the primordial being that gave her powers, the 13 hands that pointed to her and also ended up being the length of her life, the 9-petaled flower with the 1 blood-stained petal to represent the Attack Titan, the 1 Titan that represented Ymir's willingness to be free, and the only Titan to retain this throughout history and to come back and get her in the future. As well as the passing down of Titans over time and how Ymir had to be the one to create every single Titan for all of eternity through the coordinate and through all these connections. As we learn about Ymir and the fact that she sent all of these visions of the future to Eren, some questions start to come up. If Eren knew what was going to happen, if Eren saw all of these visions when he was a kid, why didn't he prevent any of the things from happening? He could have at least tried to prevent his mother from dying. He could have gotten her out of the house. There's so many things that could have changed because Eren knew what was going to happen. However, The reason why he didn't change the past is because he altered his own memories. When Mikasa wakes him up from his dream, Eren says this.
It's like the dream I was having went on forever. It's gone now. What was it about?
Insinuating that he has forgotten everything that he has seen and thinks it's nothing but pieces of a really terrible nightmare. This is probably the first example of Eren altering his own memories in the past by making himself forget the visions that Ymir sent him and thinking that it was nothing but a dream. The reason for him altering his own memories is probably because things needed to play out the exact same way in order for him to realize his powers, in order for him to save Ymir, and in order for him to start the rumbling. Basically, if Eren's past self, if his childhood self had changed anything in the past, then things would not have played out to the point where he could get his powers to start the rumbling and get the founding titan. And of course, get to the most important part of the series where he touches Historia's hand and realizes what he is capable of doing. This isn't the only evidence of him altering his memories though. There's a ton, and it's interesting to note that though Eren changed his memories and altered his memories of the past, he did leave these deep-seated feelings of hatred towards complacency and being sheep and not wanting one's own freedom. And of course, creating this insatiable desire for freedom that continues to escalate throughout the series that leads Eren down the path that he needed to go on in order for him to get his powers.
Kill them all. Every last one.
Another example of Eren messing with his own memories is in episode 2 when Grisha gives Eren the attack titan and Eren doesn't remember anything about how that event took place. He just sees bits and pieces of memories and he knows that he has to take care of the key on his neck, and whenever he looks at it, be reminded that he needs to go to the basement. And if you remember in episode 80, Eren tells Zeke that he kicked them out of Grisha's memories before Eren could get the attack titan from Grisha, before they could see that moment. And then that makes me think that there's an important part there too, that possibly Grisha hesitated to give Eren the key, and then once again Eren had to convince him to give him the attack titan, to give him the key, and to do the things that he needed to do. Really just further cementing the fact that Eren just had so much to do with Grisha's actions throughout his entire life. But let's get back to episode 6 in season 1, where we get a really important moment that reveals itself later on in the series that really just blew my mind. This has to do with Mikasa's backstory. After Eren gets eaten by a titan and then turns into a titan, and Mikasa's kind of at the edge of her rope and all the titans are attacking and she's trying to figure out what her purpose is, she was reminded of the time when Eren saved her. If you look back on that moment and you watch that scene again, you realize that, one, how did Eren know where Mikasa was going to be? Like, these people were just in some random cottage in the woods. They were not at Mikasa's house anymore, and Eren had never been to Mikasa's house before. So how did he know where exactly they were? Also, on top of that, the terrifyingly specific way that he was able to manipulate these adults to the point where he was able to just murder them in cold blood was very terrifying and also very questionable. How is this child who has never done anything like this before, lived like a perfectly happy life in the walls with his father and his mother and his best friend Armin, was able to go and viciously murder these people? The only possible reason, now that we know he can travel back in time, is that he was able to tell himself or show himself in his past where Mikasa would be and how to kill these men. But just like Grisha, there's moments where he doesn't show himself everything, like the fact that there was 3 men who attacked and kidnapped Mikasa, and he only took out 2. But it's also possible that he only took out 2, or only reminded himself that there were 2 people because he needed Mikasa to step up for herself and kind of awaken this like inner ability of hers to kill people. And it's important to note that Eren and Zeke see this moment in Grisha's memories, so it's possible that Eren at the time was also altering the memories as he was seeing them in Grisha's memories as Zeke brought him into the coordinates. But there's also another really amazing moment that I found from episode 68/69, where Eren is talking to himself in the mirror, and if you remember what he says during that moment, That is the exact same thing that his younger self says to Mikasa back when they were children. When I discovered this connection, I flipped the freak out. Eren was changing the past like right in front of us the whole time, and we didn't even know. The specific scene where Eren's looking in the mirror too is highlighted by a bunch of symbolism that kind of shows up throughout the series as well, and different parts of different moments that reference Eren's ability to travel into the past. Things like the mirror, water, the reflection. There's a moment that we're going to talk about later when Eren gets his head cut off and he's seeing all these visions, and there's one part where he sees a bird flying over the ocean, and then there's a reverse part where the reflection of the bird is over the ocean. All of these little things reference his ability to transcend time and travel back in time. In episode 9, Eren loses his arm and gets eaten by a titan, and then he turns into a titan for the first time. Once he transitions back to a person, he loses some of his memories, but he is sitting with Mikasa and Armin as they're about to be fired upon by the firing squad, and he's saying,
"You're all gonna die."
Now, when you look at this moment, you might think, oh, he's just talking about the Titans, because the moment before we see him as a Titan destroying the Titans and killing them and taking them all down to protect the walls. However, that glazed look on his face and the fact that he's kind of like feels like he's dreaming it makes me think that this is another moment when his future self convinced him and showed him glimpses of the future, or kind of spoke through him that what he was going to do in the future, which is kill everyone, not just the Titans, but literally everybody. And it's after he turns into a Titan that he gets some of his memories back. He learns how to turn into a Titan. He remembers more moments when Grisha was talking to him when he was giving him the Titan, the fact that he needs to remember the basement and the key, and then he has to get to there is something that spurs Eren on for the rest of the series. And there's also a really important moment that he remembers that Grisha tells him. That is something that Kruger told Grisha, which is that in order to protect Armin and Mikasa, he has to learn how to master his powers. Just like Zeke showed Grisha memories to make him do what he needed to do to get to his point, Eren altered and showed his own memories in bits and pieces to get Eren to continue forward, gradually revealing little tiny tidbits of information that led Eren to, get to the basement, learn about the history of the walls, and spread that information to the people, and as well as release his own memories. Symbol that shows up a lot in Attack on Titan and that I've speculated on for a really long time on this channel is the purple flower. And now knowing what I noticed that the purple flower seems to show up every time that Eren is altering or connecting to his past self. For example, it shows up in episode 9 when he turns into a Titan to protect Armin and Mikasa from the cannon. And during that episode, he gets lots of memories of the basement and Grisha and becoming a Titan. It also shows up in episode 37 when he touches Dinah Fritz, the Smiling Titan, and connects to the coordinate and is able to connect to Ymir, Bertolt, and Reiner. There's also an important moment in that episode where Mikasa is reminding him how important it was that he wrapped the scarf around her and gave her a home, and that relates back to that really important memory of him going in and saving her. Again, just revealing the little details, little memories and pieces of memories to himself in order for him to continue moving forward and make revelations about what he can do. After touching Dinah Fritz, later on he realizes that if he touches someone with royal blood, since he has a founding Titan, he can control the rumbling, he can start the rumbling, and he can control the Titans in the walls. In season 3, when they finally reach the basement and Eren and the others are reading through Grisha's story, Eren relives Grisha's memories in that moment. And as he's reliving those memories, he is telling Armin at the same time that he is remembering that Kruger talked to his father Grisha, all the details of the Attack Titan and the Titans and the history of the Titans. He's explaining that to Armin as Armin writes it down. And then there's another moment in that same episode when Eren is talking to himself and he's explaining the Attack Titan, and he says that out loud. And then he gets caught by Levi and Hanji and Armin, and they're like, "What are you doing? Why are you talking to yourself?" And that is the first time that we see Eren talk to himself in reference to something that happened to the past. He may have unintentionally been altering the past without realizing it, thinking that it was just a memory that he was seeing from Grisha. Plus, another hint to the fact that Eren can do this is, of course, when Eren Kruger says this.
Complete your mission and save Mikasa and Armin.
Mikasa? Armin? Who are they?
I don't know. They aren't from my memories.
Clearly showing that he had a connection to Eren and that Eren gave him memories of the future, basically, that he was going to meet Armin and Mikasa and that it would be his sole purpose and goal to protect them. This is also the same thing that Grisha tells Eren when he first gets the Attack Titan. The moment with Eren isn't the only one that we see that foreshadows what's going to happen. We also have a moment where Historia is reading the letter from Ymir, and when she touches it, she can see into Ymir's memories, which is a reference to what is going to happen in episode 59 when Eren touches Historia's hand and sees into the past, while simultaneously revealing the future to himself. At the end of episode 59, when they finally make it to the ocean, everyone is happy except for Eren, who points to the sea and says,
If we did cross the sea, and we killed our enemies, after that, would we finally be free?
Initially, we think that Eren only means that when they kill all the Marleyans, that they're going to be free, and this is also emphasized by the fact that the next episode is showing the other side of the sea, which is the Marleyans fighting in this war. Distract the audience from Eren's actual plan by making us think that he just wants to kill all the Marleyans, when in actuality, he legit says, once we kill everyone on the other side of the sea, that is when we will finally be free. So as we know, in season 4, Eren goes in and infiltrates Marley, and he's able to steal the Warhammer Titan and kill millions of people in the process. After Marley's invasion and destruction, Eren gets Zeke, and we see moments where he made plans with Zeke to go through and try to euthanize all of the Eldians. He agreed with him to have him go along and come onto Paradise Island so that they can go through with the rumbling. Because Eren knew, now that he revealed the entire future to himself, that he needed to have Zeke on his side just long enough for him to touch him and get into the coordinate and complete his goal. Eren's ability to know the future also kind of shows up in this episode, because it's the episode where Sasha gets killed by Gabby, and while everyone else is very sad and upset that Sasha is dying, Eren kind of makes this like scary laughing sound that indicates that he knew what was going to happen. In the next few episodes after that, we see Eren making a deal with Zeke and them coming together, and the fact that Eren may have possibly relied on Zeke's ability to catch his head, and the fact that Eren possibly knew that Gabby was going to shoot his head off and it was going to be caught by Zeke just in time for him to go into the coordinate. In episode 78, we see all of these visions and memories and combined together in this crazy mess of a dream as Eren is passing from the regular world into the coordinate. So we see images of Frida, who has some of her memories because she is the founding Titan, but I don't think he can really tap into those. But he does have the memory of Grisha, and Grisha confronting the Rice family, which is how we see them in that vision. There's also images of Mikasa and Armin and Sasha and Connie and Levi and Hanji. And as he said before, 4 years ago, those were the most important people in the world to him. We also see Grisha's past, the way that he hated his family for their complacency, the death of his sister Faye, all the little moments that Eren would use to manipulate and brainwash Grisha into doing what he needed him to do. There's also the reflection of the bird over the ocean. Like I said earlier, that references his ability to go back into the past. There's the key that reminded Eren to get to the basement, all the secrets of the basement and the world outside of Paradise Island, and giving him back his memories. Basically, each major scene that we see in Eren's vision in this episode reflects different moments that he is going to use to his advantage, or that he is going to change or alter, or that he has changed or altered. There's only one scene that really stands out to me that doesn't make any sense and that doesn't really coordinate to any of the past memories that he has from the other people and the other Titans. And it's this image of 3 children that look more modern than any of the other images in his memories. And it's a possibility that these 3 children are references to the future, things that haven't happened yet, but things that he knows will happen. In episode 79, the two brothers go back into Grisha's memories so that Zeke can convince Eren that he was brainwashed, when in fact it is the other way around. Eren brainwashed Grisha in order to get what he wanted. And then there's a moment where Grisha is confronting the Rice family, telling them to go help the people of the walls, and Frida, because of their vow renouncing war, does not do anything and says that this is their atonement for their sins. And then Eren swoops down and tells Grisha in this exact same words that Eren Kruger told Grisha in the past.
Even in death, even after, you chose to start this story.
進み続けるんだ。死んでも死んだ後も。父さんが始めた物語だろう。
Bombarding his father with memories of the past and of memories of what is to come in order to manipulate him to kill the Rice family so that they could get the founding titan. Bringing it all the way back around to episode 80, Eren rips his own thumbs off to get to Ymir, and if you remember, ripping his thumbs off, or ripping off his left thumb specifically, is the way that he is able to awaken the Attack Titan. And the Attack Titan is the connection between him and Ymir. It is the Titan that represents all of Ymir's willingness to be free. And it comes back 2,000 years in the future to tell her that she is not a god, she is not a slave, she is just a person, and she gets to choose what she wants. She gets to choose her own freedom. She gives Eren the Founding Titan powers, and he is able to initiate the rumbling, setting in motion the plan that was insinuated all the way back in season 1. He's going to destroy humanity, because it's his ultimate threat to his freedom. It is the only way to reach his goal. But we haven't reached the end of Eren's story, at least not yet in the anime. So as we rush towards the ending of Attack on Titan, there may be more things that are revealed to us about Eren's plans, what he truly wants, and if he's going to get what he's searching for. If Eren really is a truly unstoppable godlike being, or if he is just a person, like he tried to convince Ymir of being. What lessons does he have yet to learn? And what dreams and memories and visions does he have yet to show us? If you want to learn more about Attack on Titan and watch more deep dives like this, make sure you click my little icon up here so you can subscribe to the Anime Tea and get notified when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.